this is the orientation to the program. So this is all the policies and processes and things you need to know out of the handbook to be successful. So this one's for you. Everything else will be fun and great and cool, but this is the one that means you graduate. So pay attention. There are three things we're going to do, at least three things we're going to do. First, I want to orient you a little bit to the Canvas course. We've sent out a few emails about accessing Canvas for the seminar. I just want to orient you to that a little bit, just so you can make sure that you get around that okay and do all the assignments in that course that are expected of you. Then we're going to do some quizzes on policy. So experienced students, this is your time to shine. This is your time to show the new students that you really have this program down and you understand the policies well. Then we're going to talk a little bit about just the path towards graduation. Major milestones, some roadblocks, some stumbling blocks that might get in your way, and again, experienced students, if you can share with the newer students some of the tips that you found, or some of the hints that you found, or good practices you found, to kind of get through those things and overcome those things. And we're going to have fun along the way, because we're going to have quizzes and all kinds of exciting things that happen, and a lot of participation and a lot of interaction. That's going to be great. So the Canvas course, all of you who are enrolled in the seminar for credit should be enrolled in this course in Canvas. Canvas is a learning management system. The company is Instructure. This is the link here, but if you were enrolled in the class for credit, if you just go to byu.instructure.com, it should pull up as one of the options for you to get in. And maybe some other your professors are using Instructure as well, or Canvas as well. If you are not enrolled in the seminar for credit and would like to be, so you can look at the assignments and look at some of the materials. Everyone should just be able to get in this course and look at the materials, PowerPoints we present or post or other things like that. But if you need to look at anything more deeply, look at any of the assignments or anything like that, just shoot me an email, jason@byu.edu, and I can enroll you in the Canvas course. And you can have access just like any of the other students. We will go look at the Canvas course right now. So if you go into Canvas, you'll see this IP&T 690R, Section 1, Seminar. And probably the biggest things I'd like you to be aware of, first is the syllabus that goes over all of the learning outcomes, the grading scale, the policy. You need to be here if you're enrolled for credit all but 2 weeks. We give you kind of 2 weeks off. So there's 15 weeks in the semester, 15 seminars. So that means that you need to participate in 13 of the seminars, either in person here or at a distance. We'll talk about the distance option in just a second. All of you will be participating at a distance at least once, but you can do it more than once if you're traveling or doing other things during the week. Participation policy. We want you to prepare to be here a little bit on time, meaning a few minutes early. Staying for the entire seminar, sliding forward as much as you can, paying attention, not multitasking, giving the speaker your full attention, participating if he or she asks questions.
Can I say something about that, Jason?
Dr. Graham, yes.
So, have any of you ever taught a class where you come in and everybody is on the back 2 rows of the class and you're at the front with like 4 or 5 rows of chairs and nobody's there? I know Tad hasn't because he's awesome, everybody wants to, and he brushes his teeth in the morning and stuff like that, but we have had times in the past in this seminar where we invite really important people. They're giving of their time, they're coming, they're taking time out of their work schedule or whatever to come and present to us. And then we have everybody sitting in the back half of the class and we have just a scattered few people in the front. So we really want to show respect to the people who are coming and try and be here on time and be towards the front. That shows that we're excited, we're interested, we're engaged, we want to engage, we're not going to try and flip out a little early, that kind of thing.
How did we do today? Pretty well. I'd actually say pretty well. I mean, these right up here in the front, I mean, this is the splash zone. You don't want to be in this anyway. But you know, over here at the second table, there's a few empty seats. So we did pretty good. A few of us could maybe have, you know, been a little more outgoing and sat closer to the front, but pretty good today. You'll grade yourself on this, on participation on all of these points in the quizzes.
So I have a question about grading ourselves, because the first assignment we had to do for this week
Yeah.
was to grade ourselves from last week. One of
Right.
the questions was about doing reading, and I answered no, because what was the reading for last week?
Okay, we can correct that. That's if
Okay.
there is a reading. I mean, lots
Oh, okay,
often there
I thought I had
won't be.
missed it, because I couldn't,
Yeah.
I didn't know what to do, so.
Often there won't be, but you know, sometimes we'll have presenters who ask us to do something in advance, and if we want to respect them, you know, because they're doing it for a reason. They want us to get something and come prepared for something in advance. Any other questions? We want you to kind of stay on top of these assignments. We will release the next week's quiz. So the assignment for today's seminar is being released today. We're not opening them all up at once just so we don't have any confusion of people accidentally clicking the wrong one or anything like that. So you should only have one new one for every week's seminar, and we'll turn it on. Is it already on?
Yeah.
It's already turned on for this week's seminar. It'll be on, we hope, just before the seminar or sometime Wednesday morning. So if you do it right afterwards while it's still fresh in your mind, great. If you go to class and need to do it, you know, Wednesday night or any time throughout the week, that's okay. It's due at 11:59 the following week. So if you haven't yet recorded last week's seminar, you still have till 1 minute to midnight tonight to get it in. And you're going to want to stay on top of it, because if you don't do last week's seminar and you were here, well, that counts. If you don't fill out the assignment, that's one of the 2 times that you've missed, right? And you don't want to do that the first week of the semester if you can help it.
I have a question about that. What about those who added the course after last Wednesday? Are we automatically penalized one of our 2 absences?
So is this justice or mercy? We'll work with you. We'll take care of
Okay.
that.
I think the fact that she didn't get to eat the yummy meal.
That's punishment enough.
That is punishment.
Yeah, we'll work with you on that.
Thank you.
We're previewing, so we've gotten, as you see, many of the seminars lined up already. This is subject to change. Obviously, people will adjust, so this is the schedule that we're just building in advance. But you can see some of the people that we're planning on, the topics that they're planning on, or if they're presenting on their companies. Get the word out. These are great opportunities to come and learn. We also want you to be critical. Not critical in a bad way, not like, you know, like, that's a terrible idea. We don't want you to be critical in that sense, but we want you to think critically about the seminar speakers that come. Except this one. This one's, you know, this is all information you can count on. But generally we invite people, when we invite someone, it's because we think that they have something exciting to say. We think that it will be instructional and educational for you. That doesn't necessarily mean we endorse everything they're going to say. So think critically about it. How does it align with your own personal theories of instruction and learning? What do you find attractive or interesting about what they say? And what would you maybe suggest they work on in their theory or presentation? Learn from it. And that means in every sense of the word. Evaluate them personally. Ask them questions if you need clarification or if you want to engage in a discussion with them. Ask them questions. Some of them will allow for questions during the presentation. Some of them will be able to stay for a few minutes afterwards, possibly at the soup lunch with us and engage in conversation. But ask them questions, but be respectful of their time and kind of what they're planning on as well. If you go to assignments, you will see what you're expected to do this semester. So first, there are just some semester assignments we want you to be aware of. You need to attend the seminar at a distance at least once. And if you do that, you just complete that assignment and answer a couple of reflection questions about what kind of experience did you have. You need to attend an IP&T project, thesis, or dissertation defense sometime during this semester that you're enrolled for credit. Michelle Bray, our secretary, department secretary, sends those out as they're scheduled. You'll start to see more as the deadlines for graduation approach. So just schedule it into your time the best that you can. But you'll find those very informative as you're preparing for your defenses as well. You'll see the questions that are asked, you'll see how it happens, how the student is prepared, and you'll just become more familiar, more comfortable with the process as you watch it happen so that you're hopefully less nervous and more ready for your own. There will be a final seminar reflection we'll turn on at the end of the semester, then explore IP&T projects. So this is to visit with somebody who has either an alumni or a student who has recently completed a project as opposed to a dissertation. Does that distinction make sense? Differences between projects and dissertations, projects and theses. So a project is something that you'll either design and develop or evaluate. It's more of a practical, hands-on experience that you then write up. And then the dissertation or thesis is where you're researching and creating new knowledge and contributing to our field in a more scholarly academic way. So you'll visit with a student or an alumni who's recently completed one of these and ask them these kinds of questions and take the reflection. So it makes sense, the difference between what we're asking for on exploring IP&T projects as opposed to attending a defense. Dr. Graham, did you have a comment?
Yeah, so for doctoral students, there is a PhD project that's a research project, which is kind of like doing a thesis. You're doing an article, so you could ask somebody about that.
Sure.
Too.
Yeah. And then the seminar participation quizzes. As you go into those. So question 1, how prepared are you? It's on your honor. We're all BYU students. You know, we all have the gift of the Holy Ghost. We're going to judge ourselves on these things and do just fine. How prepared were you for the seminar today? Did you show respect for the presenter? And there's 4 points underneath here. Question 3, did you contribute to the seminar? Were you engaged? And then question 4 is just a brief reflection. Now for last week, anything you submitted pretty much was fine that showed you were here. So all of you who said great lunch, you got full credit for that. But going forward, including for today, I want you to write something of substance. Write a few sentences, a paragraph or two about what you learned, any reaction you have to it. How does that maybe help you with a scholarly pursuit you're engaged in? Or how would you maybe critique it in terms of, I think they could be a little stronger in their learning theory in these capacities. Anything like that counts as a reflection. We'll grade those, so you'll get the score on the other ones obviously immediately. We'll grade the other one by the next week, and you can kind of track your progress through the semester that way. That's just a brief highlight of the Canvas course. I don't really want to spend a lot more time on it unless there's any major burning questions people have about it. Okay. Well, let's take a quiz. What is graduate student support, and how can it support you? Who'd like to answer this question? Experienced students, come on, you know this.
There's like graduate studies events where like graduate students come together, so that could be like social support, but they also have all the important university deadlines. So like you may have to have applied for graduation by this time. You may have to have submitted your thesis to graduate studies by this time. So they have all those dates listed as well that can support you in keeping track of where you need to be for your graduation.
So kind of social support, emotional support, and then process support, making sure that you're staying on track with all the requirements the university has. It's in, I believe, the Wilkinson Center. Is that where it's at? Those of you, has anyone visited? I think it's in the Wilkinson Center. They have events, and they're great, and we would encourage you to be involved. What is IPSO?
They're the ones that sponsor the Donuts at
What is a devotional?
devotional time too. So I've thought about posing as a graduate student. I'm going a little too bold right now.
We have non-traditional students. What is IPSO? Full credit. What is it? Bob is the president. So it's kind of like our version, right? Our department version of the graduate study support. It will provide department-specific social events, and other activities for you to engage in, to get to know the other students, build connections, build a network, start to build a professional network. Dr. Kimmons, is there anything else you want to say about, that would be a resume item, like you said.
Yeah, so we do activities, we do other things to just make it a fun experience for the students.
You sponsor dinners with professionals, so you can kind of engage in networking, get to know people, what they do on the job, and start to build a professional network. Get involved. It's a pretty unique opportunity to have an association like that, so get involved. What happens every week after seminar? Soup. If what? People sign up. So sign up and write down your assignments. Who is responsible for knowing program deadlines? You have 4 options here. A, Michelle. B, your chair. C, the department chair. Or D.
If anybody says C, you're fired.
Dr. Graham was responsible for all of your success, taking your agency, so you are. So stay on top of things. If you miss something, we just kind of have to say sorry. Try again next semester. We respect the university policies. We understand why they have put those structures in place. We respect them and honor them, and we're gonna help enforce them. So stay on top of them.
Can I say, we don't have Andy Gibbons here to say this. He would say this every semester, but you're not undergraduates anymore, right? You're graduate students, and graduate students we treat a little bit differently. You have a little bit more flexibility, but you also are completely responsible for your own deadlines, so keep on top of them.
Okay, progress evaluations. So the department, the faculty in this department, evaluate the graduate students in this department. How often does that happen?
I think it's fall and winter semesters. I don't think we get one in the summer, so it's twice a year.
Twice a year. Very good. What are the possible outcomes of a progress evaluation?
You're suspended.
You're suspended. So the outcomes would be, correct me if I get this one wrong, Dr. Graham. Acceptable, you're making progress.
Satisfactory.
Satisfactory.
No, acceptable is satisfactory.
Acceptable, satisfactory. Marginal, meaning that we're going to keep our eye on you. Unacceptable. Or unsatisfactory.
Unsatisfactory.
Which one do you want? That's not one of the quizzes, but let's do a follow-up. Which one do you want? You want satisfactory, you want satisfactory, acceptable. But what's the automatic outcome? Oh, so along with this, so part of this evaluation, the faculty evaluates you, and we give you one of those 3 rankings. And then you also evaluate yourself. There's a component of it where you'll fill out just a little progress update form. And we send that out in email, give you, a few weeks, a couple weeks to take care of it, and then you just respond to it online. What would be the automatic outcome of your progress evaluation if you do not complete your personal, hey, we've got the answer to that question. Question 1 is the answer is in link number 3. Dr. Sudowitz did not help us with this quiz, I'm guessing, because we put the answer to a previous question in a later question. What would be the automatic outcome of your progress evaluation if you don't complete the self-evaluation? Probably satisfactory. We hope satisfactory. The answer is you don't want to find out. The other answer is, Dr. Graham?
Yeah, it's unsatisfactory.
Unsatisfactory.
If you don't complete your self-evaluation, you won't get a satisfactory.
We need to know, we need to know the progress you're making in order to make a full judgment of what you're doing. So take those seriously. We give you some time, and it's not complex, and we just need that information to make the progress report.
So how do these evaluations happen? Like sit down roll interviews?
No,
Or
so
are they
you'll get an email saying it's time to do your
Well, it's self, but I mean for the non-self evaluation, but the
okay,
regular.
so the faculty will get together and we'll make a determination.
The faculty sit in a room, in the conference room, all of the faculty. We have all of the names of the student. Michelle has put together a list of your progress points and the things that you've done, and we go down name by name. We have she takes the stuff from your self-evaluation, she takes stuff from what you've actually submitted, like if you've completed a prospectus or whatever.
Courses, we'll see the courses that
Yeah.
you've done since the last
And we go
evaluation.
down name by name, and hopefully we don't have to talk about you. You know, hopefully you're a student that's, you know, we can easily just go by and say, you know, this person's progressing well, has done everything they need to, and just move on to the next person.
Dr. Rich.
A couple of things on that. Did you mention the 2 unsatisfactory in a row?
Have not mentioned that.
So if you get 2 unsatisfactories in a row, you.
Or a marginal and unsatisfactory.
Anything that's not satisfactory, anything that's not in that top category 2 in a row is the trigger.
Then the graduate studies will automatically kick you out of the program. We don't have any control over that. You get 2 non-satisfactory, you know, anything that's not marginal or unsatisfactory in a row, graduate school automatically kicks you out.
So basically, if you get a marginal, I mean, it's something you take seriously. It's not something that you can just blow off. But what it's saying to you is, you're close. You just need to, you know, fix a few things. Unsatisfactory means there's a lot more work that you need to do to correct the ship.
If you get a marginal or satisfactory in your review, you'll get a letter that tells you exactly why and gives you some things that you need to do so that the next semester you don't have an unsatisfactory or a marginal. So that's the other thing. Usually when we have students that have challenges, it's because they're not paying attention to the deadlines, they're not paying attention to emails that come out from Michelle, because Michelle's pretty good about trying to remind people about things, but if you don't read the email she sends out, you don't get informed about things that you might need to be completing and doing.
Yeah, there's plenty of sources of information. The screen, the big screen in the grad lab downstairs, the deadlines are published there, other information is published there, so there's sources of information. Just make sure that you're following it. Dr. Rich, did you have another comment?
No.
Okay. All right. Well, let's talk about some good things. So financial aid. Where can you get financial support for attending conferences, including finding awards for professional organizations that can pay for conference travel? What are some ideas? There's not just one answer to this, so.
Conferences themselves, typically?
Sure, yeah. So the conferences themselves may advertise opportunities for grad students. Yes.
The program has some scholarships for travel too, right?
Right, so we offer as a department some scholarships for travel.
How many of our graduate students in here have received travel money from the department? Raise your hands high. Just 2, 3?
Oh, so there's lots of opportunities for the rest of you. It looks like.
Yeah.
And you might also ask, how many people have received financial support from the department?
How many have received financial support from the department at some point?
Good.
I'm going to give you a little insight. This last granting cycle we went through, we gave away all the money that we had from the university to give away. We had over $7,000 that we gave to students that they didn't use and is coming back to us. Because if you don't use it for, towards your tuition, it is not used and comes back to the department. So apply for the funds.
So thank your fellow students who didn't use the money, I guess.
One of the things we consider for the travel is whether or not you're presenting.
Yeah.
And we have to have evidence. If you say, hey, I'm presenting at a conference and I'd like to get some department support, we're very pleased to hear that and we'd like to support it. But we have to have verification that you're actually presenting at the conference, and that's your claim. And that puts you in a higher category of priority for receiving funds.
We gave out quite a few $500 to students to support their travel. AECT, that's this fall, we're actually taking some vans down, and you didn't even have to apply for. You have to let us know if you want to go. But since we're taking vans, it's in Las Vegas. If you want to go to the conference, you'll have to pay for your own conference entrance and you know, share a room with someone, so contribute to room and lodging while you're there. But we'll find a place for you on
We'll make sure you get there.
we'll make sure you get there in the vans with the people. So
We
if
might
you,
make sure you come home.
if you're a new student and you want to go to ACT this semester, or you're an old student and you didn't, experienced returning student. Gotta be careful about these things. And you want to go to ACT, it's in October. Send an email to Michelle. If you want to ride on a bus down, or a van down with someone, we're kind of finalizing the arrangements this coming week. So if you want to go, want that to be an experience you take advantage of, email her.
All right, what's the difference between a grant and a scholarship?
One's based on need, one's based on merit.
Yes. We have both in this department. So if you need some financial assistance with, you know, for your life circumstances, there are certain grants. And then scholarships, that would be the qualifications like Dr. Yancher mentioned. If you're presenting at a conference, you may qualify for a scholarship you know, for that activity or for other research activities, scholarly activities. Write down 2 ways you can identify a potential internship, or think about them in your head. What are some ideas?
Pay attention to the million emails we get on a daily basis about those
A lot of
things.
emails. Good, what else?
If we have a current job in a related field.
They qualify under certain conditions, like we clarified last week. What else?
Networking at the conferences you go to.
Yes, networking, looking for opportunities in your professional network. Anything else?
Just talking to other students in the department, kind
Good.
of seeing what they've done or where
Yep.
they currently are.
Getting ideas from other people, talking to your professors, see if they have any ideas. There's lots and lots of opportunities for internships. How many hours a week during a semester should you expect to work for 3 credit hours of internship? 9 to 10 every week. At least, you know, averaged out over the semester. So 3 credit hour over 15 weeks, you should be in the neighborhood of 135, 140 hours that you worked for that internship credit. You should register for internship credit the semester you start or the semester you complete your internship. One vote for start. Any other votes for start? Any votes for complete? You got a battle. Anyone want to defend their answer?
Retrospective never works in this program.
That's right.
So there's a clarification. Let's clarify 2 things. So after the semester ends, if you want to seek internship credit for an experience that's done that you had the previous semester, you can't do that. But if you have an experience that spans, like you start in summer term and it ends in fall term, you actually register for the internship credit in fall semester. So the semester that your internship will complete, you'll register for the credit. Dr. Davies, I'm getting this right?
Yeah, in general, just talk to Jason. No.
Okay.
Register for the credit in the semester that you do the majority of the work.
Majority of the work. So, but yeah, like Susan says, retroactive does not work. So if you did something in the spring term and you completed in spring term and want credit in fall semester, not even a conversation.
But to do an internship, they turn in a internship proposal that you turned it into Randy before, but now it'll go to Jason. You don't go do an internship or start an internship and then come later and say, I want to count this as an internship and I'm going to finish up this semester. You want to make sure that you get approval from the internship coordinator before you start your internship.
And there's a contract, there's a written document you do for our department, and there's also an online process that you do with the university. You've got to complete both of those before you can register for internship credit.
Right. So it's best if it's going to span semesters, even if you're taking the credit in the semester that you're doing the bulk of the work, and let's say that's the second semester, go talk to the internship coordinator and make sure that you got approval to do the internship. Because you don't want to do a bunch of it and then come to him and him say, well, this is not really an acceptable internship.
Is there a hand back here somewhere?
It was. I was going back to the previous one. If you're also looking for internships, you can always contact Holt Zog at the library. He is always looking for good people.
Yes.
And this is Holt Dog.
Glad to have
Do you know Holt Dog?
I always speak about myself in third person. I get a little more that way.
you. The scope of PhD projects are such that it should be completed in what length of time?
Yeah.
So for your doctorate in your PhD program, you have 2 projects, development, measurement, evaluation, or research project. You have 2 of those. How much time should you expect to take on one of those projects?
1 semester.
About a semester. But if that project is not completed in what length of time, you'll receive a failing grade. 1 year. So if you start it and then don't finish it, or don't go through whatever last steps you have, you'll get a failing grade after 1 year. You must have a defense of your project with 3 faculty members, and it will count as your comprehensive exam. True or false?
True.
True? And we want to fight for false.
Well, it's a committee of like 1 who approves your project, so I'm not sure about what happens at the end of that though. I'm doing my first project this year, so.
So the answer is false. So projects do count as your comprehensive exam, but you do not defend them in front of a committee, like you do your thesis or your dissertation. So you will complete a project with a faculty chair, a sponsor in the department, a faculty sponsor, and then they will distribute it to 2 other readers to get feedback, but there's no defense. They'll just average their grades individually, and that's your final grade for the project, and then that counts as one of your comprehensive exams for the doctoral program. Does that make sense? Your thesis or dissertation will be defended. Theses are defended with 3 faculty members, dissertations are defended with 5 faculty members.
And
for your
projects.
and project, and your master's project.
Master's project.
Master's project. How far in advance of a defense does your final document need to be to your committee? This is for your thesis or dissertation.
2 weeks.
To comply with graduate study policy, how far in advance? 4 weeks. And that's to make sure that they have enough time to read it and offer good comments. 2 weeks for some of these documents just isn't enough time. How many dissertation or master's project credits can you take prior to passing your prospectus defense? So there's 2 answers here. One for your master's and one for your PhD. Before you can, so you have six master's thesis credits or project credits. How many of those can you take before your prospectus is defended? I heard someone's, I think I heard none out there.
Yeah.
Any other answers? 3.
2.
2 is the correct answer. How about for your dissertation? How many credits of dissertation can you take before defending your prospectus?
6.
6. Any other answers? 4. 4 answers of 4 hours of dissertation credit. When is it okay to change your faculty committee?
If they leave.
If they're bugging you?
If
they're
they
being too
leave
hard,
the department.
if they're being really hard on you, then you can change them. There's some real answers back here. Was there an answer back here? Drew, you have an answer?
I have a question.
Okay.
About number 2.
Okay.
I wait till we're done with number 3.
Someone back here said if the faculty leaves the department.
Okay, so if someone moves on, right? What would be another situation?
As needed, if
As
your
needed.
interests change or your.
Yeah. So you should build a committee that will mentor you to have the highest quality project or thesis or dissertation possible, right? And so you want to compose that committee of people who can help you. And so if it ends up being that someone else in the department is stronger in the particular methodology that you're using, you can add them to your committee and change it for somebody else. And that's okay. We as a faculty are okay with that. Dr. West, did you have a comment?
I was just going to say, one clarification, make sure your chair knows you're changing members on your
Yes.
committee. That's happened on occasion before. So basically, anything needs to go through your chair, and they should be aware of it. And it's also a nice courtesy to let the rest of your committee members know that you're taking them off. It may feel like you're breaking up with with an ex or something like that. It may feel a little awkward. But it actually isn't awkward at all for us because students come and go. We're just kind of used to it. But it's helpful for us to know where our responsibilities are. And so I've not been notified on occasion and still counting on my fingers how many advisees I've got and not realized that a couple have moved on.
So you be open, communicate well about it, but it's okay. If you need to make a change, you can make a change.
There's also two new requirements or new policy things that have happened this year. So for those old returning students, one relates to PhD committees. Now, if you're forming a PhD committee, you're required to have one of the 5 members outside of the department. Okay? So that's going to take a little bit of thinking, a little bit of work, finding someone who's an expert or someone who can serve on your committee that can bring expertise outside of the department. You do not have to do that at the time that you submit your program of study. So PhD students submit their program of study basically 1 year after they start. That's basically your plan for doing all of your classes. Master's students submit their program of study when? Next semester. So you have to submit yours a little bit earlier. But the committee that's on your program of study for doctoral students can just be everyone in the people in the department. But then when you get ready to do your PhD, or when you get ready to defend your prospectus, you'll need to swap one person out for someone who's an external. Then the second thing is, and I don't know if this is what you're going to mention, Peter, but for master's students, if you're doing a project, a development project, Dr. McDonald has to be on your committee. He doesn't have to be the chair of the committee, but he has to be one of the 3 members on your committee. And that's the same for PhD projects. If you're doing a development project, Jason will either be a committee member or he'll be a reader on that project because we're trying to build a little more consistency into the development projects.
PhD projects only have a committee of 1.
He'll be one of the readers if he's not the chair.
Okay, so he's not automatically your.
Yeah. So I'll be involved in all of the master projects or PhD design projects, master's design and development projects or PhD design and development projects. Happy to be part of it in whatever capacity is best for your project, but yeah, in some fashion. Dr. Rich?
In all of these changes, we're talking about switching your committee. Just be aware there is a form officially to do that. Sometimes when we're going through student reviews, one piece of information we have is who's on the committee, and sometimes that doesn't match up with what students have told us, and that's because they didn't file the right paperwork, so that they've got the wrong committee officially, even though they may be working with new people. So it's not just a breakup, it's actually a breakup with a letter. So it's an official,
Bureaucratic form.
It's a bureaucratic form. So just make sure that you do that. It's not, they have that at the front desk, you can get that, it's easy. Just make sure that when you do switch your committee, you have to make it official by getting new signatures on the form with it. Otherwise, on the records, you have someone else listed.
Yeah, I was just going to say, universities, complex institutions, there is a lot of deadlines, policies, blah, blah, blah. It's just best to know what those are and to try and do them. Because if you don't know what they are, you end up running into problems. So we're sorry that we have to spend time talking about this, but it's really for your benefit because all of these things are things that in the past have either held people up for graduation or caused them to not get satisfactory reviews, things that are dumb, right? You shouldn't not get a satisfactory review because you haven't formed your committee correctly. you should not get a satisfactory review, well, you should always just get a satisfactory review.
Okay, so
Okay.
maybe,
Go ahead.
but maybe I'm the only one getting DM headlighted by this, and maybe I can just find out later, but like, what's the difference between a dissertation, a thesis, prospectus?
Good.
I'm
Okay.
just kind of sitting here being like, I don't know what any of this stuff
Great
is.
clarification. So a dissertation is the culminating event for doctoral students. It's a scholarly activity that ends up being written up as one long document or a series of articles for publication. A thesis is the culminating event for some of our master's students. The other option for master's students is a project. So a thesis is also a scholarly event that can result in an article or something like that, or you can do a project in evaluation or design or measurement or something like that that demonstrates your competency and your skills in the field. The prospectus is your contract. So it's a preview for your committee of what you plan to do. And they all gather together and say, this is a great plan. We approve of this plan, and then you fulfill that plan as you finish the thesis or dissertation. Does that clarify it?
Yeah.
Anything else, Coach?
Just one other thing, I mean, I know it might seem, I mean, it is easy to get deer in the headlights with all of this. What I would suggest for students, we put together last year a handbook that has everything you'll need in it. And I would go, it's on the website, I would go read through the handbook. Because if you've read through the handbook, it'll tell you all the policies, it'll tell you all the deadlines, it'll give you some other information. And then it will trigger your memory at different times in the future. But it's important for you to have looked through the handbook and know what's in it.
In our last 5 minutes, let's just do the map to get you out of here successfully. So there are some things that happen as you're being admitted to the program. There are things that happen as you're working on your program core, and then there's things that happen as you're working towards graduation. So you apply to the program, you are accepted to the program, there's a decision that says you're accepted to the program, there's a temporary advisor that's assigned to you, and then you plan your first year courses. And hopefully all of you have done these things. We at least know that you've been admitted. We hope the other things have happened as well, including that you're planning your first year courses, that you're not just taking whatever courses happen to be free, but that you have, at least the development of a plan. It can change. It should change as you're getting experience and learning what this field is about and learning what the different capabilities and talents are in the department with other students and the faculty. It should change, but at least you're changing a plan and not just randomly flailing in the wind with what's happening around you. Number 2, the program core. There's the progress evaluations that happen twice a year, either at the end of your first year if you're a doctoral student, or at the end of your beginning of your second year, or the beginning of your second semester if you're a master's student. You're selecting your committee and building a study list. You complete the core courses, which are things like foundations, intro to instructional design, evaluation. Those are core courses that everyone in the department takes. There are skill courses. What are the skill courses?
Measurement or
Specializations in different areas. So Dr. Rich teaches, programming in Adobe Animate. That's a skills course. Not everyone in the department has to take that. You specialize using those skill courses. You complete an internship. Master's students are required to have 1 internship of 3 credits. Doctoral students, 2 internships of 3 credits. Question?
This might be a dumb question. Do you have to complete your internship while you're on semester, or can you take a semester and just take an internship credit?
Either one. Yep, either one. You have to make, over the course of a year, you have to maintain a minimum number of credits that are defined in the handbook, depending on whether you're, depending on a few different factors. So as long as over the year you've met those requirements, you can take an internship during 1 term or semester, and that would be all you do. Yeah. PhD students have projects. There are specialization courses, and those are like advanced evaluation or advanced instructional design, or things that are kind of culminating courses in whatever discipline within the field you're choosing, specialization within the field you're choosing. And then the seminar. So master's students, how many seminar credits do you take? 1 credit, so that's 2 semesters of seminar. PhD students, how many? You come to the semester 4 semesters, or you come to the seminar 4 semesters for 2 credits. To get to graduation, you continue to have your evaluations. You finalize this committee that you've been talking to faculty and getting to know them. Whatever committee is going to help you create the product, that culminating event, dissertation, thesis project that you want. You'll write your prospectus, you'll defend it, you'll then complete the work, defend that in an oral defense. Thesis and dissertations are then approved through the dean's office and the university. They are submitted to the university formally as well. And then Department Chair Dr. Graham has an exit interview with you as you're leaving the program. And if you meet all the deadlines for those things, you're successful and you graduate. We're going to conclude. I'm just going to quickly show you a couple of things that are pretty impressive. Student authorship. So being here, you're engaged in scholarly activities with a lot of our faculty, and a lot of that is making a difference. It's actually being published in different places. So you can see over the years, you as students are getting better at that as well. I mean, a couple of years ago, 2014 was a great year. 2016 is not even done yet, and it's shaping up to be a pretty good year. So your work is getting published, and these are good publications. They're being published in journals. They're being published as book chapters that are being read in the field. Tier 1, Tier 2, Tier 3 is kind of the quality of the publication. You see we have some Tier 1s, a lot of Tier 2s, which is respectable. That's not a bad thing. For a graduate student to be published in Tier 2 outlets is it's an accomplishment. And you guys are making a difference. You guys are really making a difference. And these are often coming out of your dissertations and your master's thesis. So, give yourself a pat on the back. You're among high-quality students doing high-quality things, and those of you who are new students, we anticipate you're going to continue that tradition and extend it even further into the future than we could possibly imagine. So, thank you for your participation. I hope it was helpful to kind of get oriented, even those of you who've had experience in the program, getting reoriented to the program. We'll conclude the seminar now. We'll go eat lots of soup and have a good time just associating and having some fun together downstairs. Thank you.